Hi, welcome back to Go Together, Go Far. So I use a Blue Ox SwayPro weight distribution hitch. I've done a couple videos on it, probably check them out. But I still get a little bit of side-to-side sway. I'd like to try to resolve that and make me a little more comfortable driving with the trailer and the equipment that I use today. So I had some email exchanges with a viewer named Rich. His suggestion and his problem that he was facing was pretty similar. His suggestion was to move the ball up a notch or two and see if that helped. So today we're going to go ahead and do that. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook a GoPro up to the mirror on my truck and look down the driver's side of my vehicle and take this thing out on the highway to see if I can measure that sway. Then we're going to come back, we're going to swap out the Blue Ox hitch and move the ball around and reconfigure the thing, and then we're going to take it back out and do it again. So thank you, Rich, for the advice. Hopefully it works. I think it will. And let's go ahead and get started. If this video is going to help you, go ahead and click that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button down below. That would help my channel out a lot. We now have a website called gotogethergofar.com. On that, I do a blog post on all of our videos, and so for a technical one like this, if I have to make corrections or I misspeak or anything like that, I'll put all that in that blog post, so go ahead and make sure you check that out. And finally, if you're not sure how a weight distribution hitch works, I do have a different video that I'll put a link to at kind of the end of the video that shows you. It's a great example of why these things work well and why you're probably going to want one if you have a big trailer like mine. So that said, let's go ahead and get started and let's talk about what we're going to do here. So trailer sway is still a problem for me. I still get a little bit of trailer sway, and I think it's the way that my hitch is set up. So as I mentioned in the intro, I had a discussion with a viewer via email, and Rich said that he raised his ball up a little bit, and that really helped his sway. So I'm going to do the same thing on this video. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it up as is. I'm going to attach a little GoPro to my mirror on my driver's side of my truck, and we're going to go out on the highway, and I hope you can kind of get a good view of the trailer swaying a little bit. And if you can, when we come back, then I'm going to take this thing apart. I'm going to flip this the other way around, raise this ball up one notch so it's a little higher, and put the trailer back on it and take it back out again. And I hope what we'll be able to demonstrate there is that the sway is a little bit less and we have a little better control after we make that change. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're heading towards the highway, and as an added bonus during this little experiment, not only is it a little windy, which is probably going to make things a little harder on me, it's now raining. So bear with me. This should be a pretty good experiment, and let's see what happens. So at speeds like this, I'm usually fine. I'm almost bang on 40 miles an hour right now. This is not a problem for me. Sometimes I get little bumps, I get a little kind of porpoising going on, which I hope that will get a little corrected as well, but I think that won't completely go away unless I have a bigger truck. But so speeds like this, sub 50, sub 55, even sub 60, I'm kind of okay. But if I get up into about 65, which tends to be my max speed, that's what my tires are rated for, you know, it can get a little wobbly. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so I'm just on the highway. I'm going 55. While you're seeing me get me past a little bit. Creeping up, I'm at 60 now. And I feel a little bit, but it's not too bad. We'll give it a little time here. There was a little gust. But that's more of a wind gust than it is necessarily trailer sway. And I'm at 63. So I'm gonna try and keep it at this speed. Oh, there's another good gust. I'm at 60 right now, so I'm going to try to keep it at this speed and see if we can't get some decent video of it. Okay, so I'm at about 63 right now, fairly slightly uphill, but but open area. Just went under an underpass. See if that affects anything. Sometimes there's an overpass over here on the highway that there's a lot of wind gusts and stuff that does make this pass a little scary. So I'm going to try to maybe go up to that or a little past that, and we'll see if we get some decent video. So what I'm feeling right now in the back is I can definitely feel that trailer. It's certainly not out of control, but it does feel like the tail wags the dog a little bit, and I want to make sure that that's a little more stable. So I think by raising that ball up, it's supposed to help. And in my mind, I don't know if this is going to be true or not, but in my mind, it's going to be a bit like a fifth wheel that's much higher in the front, a little lower in the back, and I think that may help some stability. We'll see. That's what I'm hoping. All right, so I'm coming up on the windy overpass. Fortunately, there's no other vehicles around me necessarily or that are that close. I can definitely feel the wind from that one. And that probably got on video. One more pass. Alright, so I'll go up one more exit, turn around, and we'll come back and we'll switch this thing around and see what happens. Okay, so we're almost back to my storage site. Hopefully I got some good footage of the trailer and how it is relating to the truck. We'll get this back. I'll park the thing on as level ground as I have, which is not great, but we'll deal with that. And then we'll adjust this hitch, this Blue Ox hitch, and then we'll take this back out and do it again and see how much better the results are. Okay, so I'm back at my storage facility. I've dropped my trailer and leveled it out. Now the step is, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this part off of the Blue Ox hitch by disconnecting these two big heavy-duty bolts. We're gonna flip this part of the assembly so this part here is sticking up. That'll give me a little more ground clearance, which would be nice, as well as give me the ability to move this ball up a notch or two. So supposedly that's supposed to help a little bit with a little bit of trailer sway. So let's go ahead and take these off and see if it helps. Okay, you can see that we've raised this up. We've flipped this piece over, raised the ball up a little bit. It's a little higher than this one, a little more than an inch. I think I'm a little on the high side there, but I'm hoping that works out right with the amount of sway I'm getting. And so we're gonna go ahead and hook this up, take it back out on the highway, and let's see if it works. So real quick before we head out, first thing I've noticed after hooking this up is that there is a lot more bend in this bar than what I had previously. So I'm still using 9 links, which is where I was at before, but with my ball so much farther down, I'm wondering if maybe it just wasn't putting enough pressure on these spring bars, and maybe that was part of the problem. So this is encouraging. Let's go ahead and let's get out on the highway. Okay, so I'm getting on the interstate right now. I'm at 55. Feels pretty good. So I'm now at 60. I feel maybe a little bit there, but it's still got some wind gusts happening. So I'm at 65 right now, and I'm gonna tell you, this is very different than driving the way I was driving before. Now there's not as much wind right now like there was earlier this morning, but I will say I can tell the difference between a wind gust and sway. Sway for me tends to be this kind of constant little bit of back and forth, where a wind gust is just out of the blue. It just kind of takes you one direction. Although I'm not seeing any of the wind gust right now, or I'm not feeling those, I do have a semi about to pass me, so that usually causes me a little bit of an issue. Let's see what happens here. So that was pretty easy. Sometimes, oddly enough, when a semi passes me, it feels like I get sucked into it a little bit. And I felt the littlest bit of that as it started to come up around the backside of my trailer, but that was it. So this feels much, much better. We'll go a little farther down the road here and see if anything changes. Okay, so far, so good. We're coming up on the particularly windy overpass right now. This is the one that's given me trouble in the past, and I'm going 65. And I'll tell you, when I had the camera turned off a minute ago, I hit 70 trying to pass a particularly slow car, and I didn't have any problems. So I'm on 65. I'm gonna just be careful on this overpass, just because it is a little windy. On the second part of it now, that's nothing like it used to be. So I tell you what, guys, I'm really satisfied with this. This has really been a good exercise for me to understand how that Blue Ox hitch really helps this in a way that maybe it wasn't fully working before. It certainly was working some, but maybe it was the extra tension on that spring, or maybe it's the way that the trailer is angled now compared to the way it was angled before, but it's made a significant difference. It's not completely sway free. I have a big trailer, and I think as long as I continue to have a big trailer in a half-ton truck, that I will have, a little, not necessarily sway issues, but I will have, when a big gust of wind comes up, I definitely will feel it. I don't think there's a different solution for that except for going up to like a 250. But as far as feeling more comfortable in the equipment that I have now, I'm definitely going to give that a thumbs up, because I definitely feel much more comfortable. So listen, if this video helps you with a sway issue that you may be having, do me a favor. Give me a like below. Give me a subscribe below, and even give me something in the comments letting me know that, hey, thanks Andy, this was great, it helped out. Rich, viewer, who sent me a couple of emails and had this suggestion, thank you, Rich. Email me your address. I'll send you a Go Together Go Far sticker. Thanks. So thank you, everybody. Check out, if you don't know how a Blue Ox hitch works, I'll post a little video here, and check out some other videos. Thanks, guys. See ya.